Welcome. I'm Omari Akil and I'm back with the next game design tutorial for the annual HABA game design contest. In the first video, I talked to you about brainstorming and turning your ideas into a game. This time, I'm here to talk about playtesting. So if this is your first time playtesting, there's a couple things you need to know. The goal of playtesting is to make your game more fun, but you will have to do a little bit of work to get there. Now that work is a process. It's a cycle of playing your game, identifying ways you can make it more fun, and exploring those ideas in a strategic way. Here's what you need to start playtesting. Most importantly is a place to take notes, so have a pad or a notebook handy. This is a good idea so you can make note if there are any changes to the rules or game components since you last played. Now, are you playing with a smaller number of cards in your hand? Are you testing out a new board? Did you change or adjust the win condition? Once you've written those things down, now it's time to playtest. And this is where you play your game like any other player might play it. But what's different about a playtest is that you'll also need to pay attention and take notes on which parts of the game are adding to the fun and which parts are taking away. You might notice you get more smiles and laughs when players get in each other's way, or it could be that turns are just taking too long in a 4-player game compared to a 2-player game. Now, these are the kinds of notes, and they're going to be clues to help you make changes that ultimately will improve the gameplay. Now, here are some of my favorite things to look for during a playtest. One is balance and fairness. Basically, does everyone playing feel like they have a chance to achieve their objectives at the start, in the middle, and even towards the end of the game? Number 2, choices and rewards. When players are taking their turns, do they have enough or too many options to choose from? And are they being rewarded enough for making good choices? Number 3 is the connection to the theme. Are things happening in the game that make you feel more or less like you're playing out the story that you want to tell with your game? Now, once you have some notes on things that you might want to change in the game, whether it's related to the rules or the game pieces themselves, you want to have a strategy for testing out your ideas. And every game is going to need different things, so I can't tell you exactly which types of changes will work best, but I can give you a few tips on things that should help make the process a little less difficult. Number 1, don't make too many changes in between playtests. If you do, it's going to be harder to tell exactly which changes affected the game in a positive or negative way. Number 2, the more variety in your playtest, the better. Try different player counts. Try playing with people with a wide range of playstyles. The more variety you have in your playtest, the more likely you are to find issues with how the game plays. Number 3, each playtest doesn't have to go through the game from start to finish. You might notice something about your game that's completely wrong, and in that case, it'll make more sense for you to stop the game and start over trying something different. Number 4, adding something to the game to make it more fun is great, but removing something from the game to make it more fun is also awesome. And by removing things, you're also potentially making the game easier to play or making the rules simpler to understand. And both of these are usually a good thing. So you'll continue playtesting and making changes until you can play through the game from beginning to end without too much confusion about how it works. And unfortunately, there's no secret for deciding when your game is actually ready to submit. But another good sign is when players who lose the game are having almost as good of a time as players who win. Hopefully at this point you've taken enough notes to be able to draft a complete written rulebook, because that's the last step of the process before you send in your submission and the topic of the next video. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you again soon.